Hello everybody. So today I'm going to do a really quick video tutorial on how to use my animal shape appliques. So as you can see, I have quite a few of them. We'll go through a few before we start. So what these are, some of them are patterns like this one, Wait Up, that has instructions in it on how to create the piecework. And then it comes with its own set of applique shapes. So you see in the pack, you'll get the pattern instructions on how to make this design and the applique shapes. I also have a few others like the bear paws. The pattern itself comes with the instructions on how to do all the piecework here, and then a set of your bears that you put into it. All of the appliques are cut out of batik material. Batiks make the best for like laser cut appliques because they're very tightly woven fabric, so you don't get a lot of fraying, and they're all backed with light Steam-A-Seam too, which is what I use in all my laser kits. I also have in 2021, I did a set of designs that can actually fit together. Oh, you can't see it. Let's see if there's one where you can see it. Here you go. You can see how you can piece all four of these next few. I'll show you together if you wanted. The Mountain Peaks has a bull moose, as you see here, as well as a couple little ducks flying over the mountains. The next one underneath in that design there is the Among the Aspens. That one is a set of deer. So there's a mama, a couple little fawns, and the buck. And then this pattern has how to do the piecework for the little aspen trees. The next one in the line here is the Among the Evergreens. And that one has a little set, oh, that little guy, he's moving around, of little bears and their mama. So there's a couple other little bears that are stacked in there. The final one in this series, as you see down here at the bottom, is the Rivers and Streams, and that has a full set of the salmon. And this one is actually, most of mine will be a solid batik. This one's actually a printed one. This is one of the batiks that was part of a collection I did with Hoffman in 2021 called Return to the Wild. So that's my scales print. All of these, and the same with the first two I showed you, the Wait Up and the bear paws, when you buy the pattern, you get the pattern instructions as well as the set of appliques in a pattern. So the pattern comes with a full set of the appliques you'll use. But should you want to make a second one, you don't have to buy the pattern again. You can buy what I call refill packs. So I do have refill packs available. Here's like the ones for the bears. They move around in their, that little guy moved around. Anyhow, the bear paws, I have it in brown, which is what you get in the original pattern, or just solid black. It comes with, you know, the mama and all the cubs, everything you would get in the original. A lot of people will buy refill packs if they just want the appliques, like they maybe just want to put them on something of their own, and that's totally fine. But this way they're less expensive and you're not paying for the extra cost of the pattern. The Wait Up, I also have refill packs in black and brown. Comes with the mama and the other little calf there. And on all of the river streams in the evergreens among the Aspen Mountain Peaks that are part of the Piecing the Wild design, I also have applique packs. Here's just an example of the one for the salmon, but you can buy what again I call a refill pack, and that doesn't come with the instructions like this one on how to put this together. It just comes with the shapes. So if you just want shapes and you want to put them on your own thing, you can totally do that. Just buy a refill pack. I also have a few that I haven't really done design specifically with, but that are animal shape packs. So this is the Alaska 5. I do have a free pattern online on how to do this little snowball design if you wanted to use it, but you can put these on, again, anything you want. And I have the Alaska 5 Natural has like the wolf here, he's in gray. You can see on the back there's a standing bear, there's a bull moose, a caribou, their antlers are folded over there so it fits in the package, and then a Dall sheep. You can see them here on the front. And then there's also a set where they're just all black. So it's these silhouettes here, all just solid black. I also have the Northwest 5, which has a deer, an elk, a black bear, a mountain lion, and what's the other one? Bison, of course. He's hiding under there, the big guy. So this is it in the natural colors again, and this is it in just solid black. So those are available on my website as well. And then I have these ones here, Just Bears and Just Moose. So if you're just wanting bears, all of my bear appliques are in here. I have 4 different cubs, a mama, and a black, I call this one the daddy bear because that's the mama. And they're all just in this brown color. And then I have the Just Moose, which has a bull, a cow, and then 3 calves. And so they're all in there. And again, the antlers are folded over, so that's why you can't see them. But anyhow, so I thought what I'd do really quick today is just kind of show you how you use these. So I have a little piece of fabric and I have one of my little bears, and we're just going to fuse it. I'm just going to explain how you would use these packs. Let me see here. So let me grab my ironing board because I don't want to get anything, make a mess on my light table. So these little appliques, like I mentioned, the fabric itself is a batik. Batiks are very tightly woven, so they make great appliques because you don't get fraying, and you can kind of see on the edges here, they're very, very cleanly cut edges. And the nice thing about that, using batiks, is that, you don't end up, even over time, they really don't fray very much because that glue holds the weave together really tightly. So if you are making, say, even like a purse or something, and you want to put a little applique, say this is my little front of my purse. Maybe you want to put a little applique on there. Totally fine. And I'm going to show you how to fuse it. I will tell you, the glue, it is just glue. I always tell people when it comes to my laser kits, if you're going to do a wall hanging and it's going to hang on a wall all the time, there's no need to put any stitching onto it. It will stay stuck for decades. And I have things that have stayed stuck for decades. But if you're going to put it on a purse, or maybe you have a shirt that had a little hole in it and you want to put a little patch, these will make a great little patch, and you can stick it over that hole and the glue will heal your patch. But if it's something that's going to get what I like to call a lot of love, like a quilt or an article of clothing or a purse or something, you do want to put a little bit of stitching on it. I always recommend, when you're stitching directly on the appliques, use a matching color thread. And what I usually do is I just do a free motion stitch, like right along the inside, about within 1/8 of an inch of the edge. Not having to be perfect. I would skip his ear, like I just go smoothly around to his nose, down his leg, down his leg, down his leg, down his leg, done. If you are doing it on a quilt and you're putting them somewhere on a quilt, if you have the quilter do a real tight stitch, you'll hit him enough that it will hold. Now, maybe it doesn't hit his back leg, and over time with washing, his leg is starting to lift. You can always take a little clear fabric glue. I usually will take like a toothpick, put the glue on the toothpick, wipe it kind of under the area that's lifting, press it down gently and let it dry. So even though they are considered a permanent bond, when it comes to something that's getting a lot of love, like a quilt or a piece of clothing or a purse or whatever, you got to remember, it is still glue. It will lift after time. And so putting a few stitches down will keep it in place. But the glue holds the appliques together really, really well. So even if it starts to lift, usually it won't fray much. It just kind of will start to raise from the background. So today we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to fuse this little guy onto this piece. And excuse me one moment, I forgot my spray bottle. All right, back. So when you go to use these appliques, they're very, very simple. They have a piece of paper on the back. It has a little bit of a grid on it, if you can see there. This is the side that, should you cut out your appliques yourself, a seam you would trace on. This is, of course, the right side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel this paper away. And what I like to do is I make a little crease. And when it comes back, you'll see that the paper keeps the crease. The fabric wants to fold away. This doesn't work every time, I'll tell you. Sometimes it's like, oh, it doesn't want to come off. You crease it in a few places, but in general, it often works very well. And then you just peel the paper right off and you're exposing this sticky glue surface. You see, it's gently sticky, not super sticky, but it is sticky. And then you'll place it wherever you want. So say I'm going to put my guy right here. And maybe I would put, maybe he's in a little quilt block or something. Or again, like maybe this is going to be the front of my wallet and I want a little bear on my wallet. So I'm going to stick him where I want him. Next, I'm going to take my iron and it's going to be on like a medium heat. So you got to know your iron. My iron is kind of sucky and it doesn't get really hot. So I can kind of go up to max and it's usually fine. But I generally tell people start at a medium heat because you don't want to overheat the glue. You can what I call fry the glue, which is when it gets so hot that it kind of like singes it and it won't stick anymore. So start out with a medium heat. And the first thing you want to do is just put a little bit of direct heat on it, just enough to warm that glue up just for a couple seconds. And that doesn't fuse it really yet. It just makes that glue warm up to where it's not going to fall off. See, it's going to stay there pretty well, but it's not fused yet. So it's not permanent and it will lift still. So that just warms it up, makes it stick. Then if you have a iron that has a good steamer, which this one does have a steamer, but I don't trust it because it has spit out minerals onto my fabrics before. So I don't like this iron. I'm not going to use the steam element. But if you do have one that you trust, you would want to then hold your iron about, let's see, let me tilt this up. Maybe you can see about like an inch or so, half inch to an inch from the applique itself. Blast it with steam for about 6 seconds, 5-6 seconds. Then you would just place the heat directly on dry heat and let it evaporate all that moisture for another 8 to 10 seconds. Now, a lot of people have some anxiety with leaving your iron on that for that long, but it will not start to burn it, I promise. That's what you need to do. Now, if you don't have a steam iron or you don't trust your steam iron, do what I do, and I use a spray bottle with just some water in it. And it's just tap water. You can get like distilled water if you want, if you're worried about iron or whatever in your mineral. We have a lot of iron in ours, but I don't notice any problems. So you'll want to spray it, and I spray it pretty darn good. I mean, I saturate it pretty well. You don't necessarily need to like soak it. A spritz or two is enough. And then I'm just going to put dry heat directly on that. And I don't know if you heard that sizzle, but I love to hear that sound because I know that that's steam. It's creating steam. And I'm just going to leave that on there for about maybe 10 seconds or so. And I'm just making sure that my iron is evaporating all that water and we're getting a good amount of steam and really getting that glue to like distribute evenly underneath and stick really well to the background. So that's probably pretty good. And now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip it over. And I can see there's still a little moisture, and I'm actually going to put the heat on from the back as well because I want to make sure that that steam and that heat has penetrated all the way to the back of the applique, gotten through any layers that we have to the background so that I know it's stuck really, really good to that background. And that's good. And I can see that is nice and dry now. Okay, so there's my little bear applique, and he is stuck on there really well. He will stay there for pretty much ever. So if you want to use these again, like I said, you can put them on anything. If I were going to make this onto put this in a quilt block, I would want to make sure that my quilter does some stitching that will definitely hit it in a number of places. Or you can put a little stabilizer behind it and do some stitching on ahead of time before you sew it into something. That works too. But use a matching color thread. If you're using like a clear or something, it will leave little holes, and the clear is all that you're going to have the clear thread to fill those holes. So if you're doing something where you're using a clear thread, don't, especially on lighter color, don't use a clear because it will leave these tiny holes, and the glue kind of like keeps the hole open. So it just looks like these little black dots all over the place. So make sure when you're stitching on them that you use a matching color thread, and do your stitching after you've done your fusing. If you do the stitching before the fusing, you will find that the glue is still tacky and it will kind of gum up your needle. But at this point, once it's been fused, the glue isn't going to be tacky anymore. It's really solidified and it will be just fine. It won't gum your needle up. One last thing when it comes to washing, I just want people to understand when you wash something, you are getting it wet and then you are using heat to dry it. So I just got this wet and then I used heat to fuse it. So if you are washing things in your washer and dryer, you're definitely running the risk that you're going to reheat that glue and it's going to lift. So I tell people, I'm just going to spread these out since I'm chitter chattering. So I always tell people that when it comes to doing, or when it comes to washing and drying stuff, I usually recommend hand wash and let it air dry. And that way you don't have to worry about that unless you have everything stitched down well, in which case it'll be fine because your stitching is going to hold it anyhow. But I hope that you'll check out some of my animal shape packs. I hope to have some more in the future. Not sure when that future will be, but I'm sure in the next few years. I have some plans for 2028. I always am a few years ahead, and I think there might be some new shapes coming out then. But for now, I got lots of different animals out there for you to use. You can use them as patches. You can put them on quilts. You can do one of the designs that I made to go with them, whatever you like. But I hope you will use them somewhere and enjoy. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.